Ladies and gentlemen, the courtroom just exploded with a twist nobody saw coming. After months of tension, accusations, and silence, the judge in Lil Durk's $8 million case has dropped an order that's already being called the most shocking decision in recent hip-hop legal history. The move has blindsided both fans and insiders. And if what's written in those documents is true, this could completely flip the power dynamic between Durk and King Von's mom. According to insiders present in the courtroom, the judge's new order doesn't just change the direction of the case. It could change how the world looks at Durk's entire empire. Word is, sealed evidence that was supposed to stay private is now about to be made public. We're talking about text messages, money transfers, and leaked internal communications between Durk's team, record executives, and people who are supposedly trying to keep things quiet. Social media is in chaos. Fans are arguing, lawyers are panicking, and even some of Durk's closest people are refusing to comment. Some are saying this is justice, others are calling it sabotage, but everyone agrees on one thing: whatever. The judge just ordered, it's about to blow the lid off everything we thought we knew about Lil Durk, King Von, and the $8 million case that's tearing the industry apart. When the gavel hit the desk that morning, the entire courtroom fell silent. Everyone, from the reporters packed in the back row to the lawyers scrolling through their notes, knew something big was coming. But no one expected the judge to do this. According to multiple witnesses in the room, Judge Ramirez, who's been handling Lil Durk's $8 million case with King Von's mom, suddenly paused mid-session, glanced at both legal teams, and announced, "New evidence has been reviewed. The court will now issue an order that changes the direction of this entire proceeding." That one sentence sent ripples through the room. Lil Durk sat there, eyes locked on his attorneys, face unreadable but tense. Across the aisle, Tasha, King Von's mom, looked exhausted but determined. Her lawyers leaned in, whispering to her, their faces breaking into faint smirks as if they already knew what was about to happen. A few seconds later, the judge's assistant handed out sealed envelopes, and inside them was a new court directive that allegedly allows the release of private financial records tied to Durk's label and brand deals connected to Von's name. For months, there had been whispers that Durk's team had tried to keep certain money trails sealed. Some insiders said it wasn't about guilt, it was about protection. Protecting a legacy, protecting an image, protecting the OTF name from being dragged through another public war. But when this order hit, that protection was gone. The judge declared that, in the interest of transparency, all revenue generated under joint merchandise, posthumous features, and royalties connected to King Von would now be reviewed by the court-appointed investigators. The reaction outside the courtroom was instant. Fans flooded social media. "Durk's done," one viral tweet read. Another said, "If Von's mom gets access to those records, it's over for OTF." And within hours, the hashtags Durk Court Leak and Daughter Von Case Files were trending. Behind the scenes, Durk's legal team scrambled. A source close to his camp told Spillora that the mood turned ice cold the moment the news broke. One attorney was overheard saying, "We thought this was sealed. How did this get through?" The leak, apparently, came from an independent audit firm that had been quietly reviewing Durk's business structures since last year. That firm, according to insiders, uncovered irregularities, nothing criminal, but enough to raise eyebrows. Things like overlapping royalty deposits, shared account names, and split earnings between projects under OTF and Von's posthumous catalog. For Tisha's team, it was gold. For Durk, it was gasoline on an already burning fire. A reporter outside the courthouse caught Tisha briefly. She didn't smile. She didn't boast. She just said, "This isn't about money. This is about the truth." But those words carried weight. Because for weeks, people had speculated that the lawsuit was just a payout scheme, a mother cashing in on her son's legacy. But with this order, that narrative flipped overnight. Now it was Durk's empire being questioned. In one of the leaked internal group chats, allegedly tied to Durk's circle, someone wrote, "We should have settled. This is going to drag everything out." The authenticity of that message hasn't been confirmed, but it was enough to spark chaos online. Fans started pulling old interviews, dissecting statements, looking for anything that hinted Durk might have known this day was coming. But here's where it gets even messier, because according to one courtroom insider, there was a tense exchange between Durk's side and the judge right after the ruling. When Durk's lead lawyer objected, claiming this move would unfairly harm his client's reputation, the judge allegedly replied, "Mr. Banks's reputation is not above accountability." Those words echoed through the room like gunfire. From that point forward, Durk's demeanor changed. He leaned back, crossed his arms, and stopped making eye contact with anyone. It was as if, in that moment, he realized this wasn't just a legal fight anymore. This was a public reckoning. Meanwhile, Tasha's team was already planning their next move. They requested access to the same audit records and began pushing for permission to review emails and communication logs between Durk's label and third-party distributors. "We believe there's a pattern," her attorney said later in an interview. "A pattern of profit without consent and silence when questions were asked." Outside, chaos brewed. Reporters shouted questions, fans screamed, "Free Durk!" and paparazzi tried to snap photos as Durk left the courthouse surrounded by security. He didn't speak, just walked straight to his car. But his silence only fueled speculation. Some fans saw it as guilt, others saw it as frustration. But everyone agreed, this was no longer just about $8 million. That night, Spillora obtained what appeared to be an internal email from a label representative connected to Durk's camp. It read, "Damage control needs to start now. We can't let the public run with their own version of this story." The email mentioned narrative stabilization and strategic silence, two phrases that have since become the center of conspiracy theories online. Did Durk's team know this order was coming? Did they try to suppress it? And as the internet caught fire, one video clip resurfaced from a past interview where Lil Durk was asked about King Von's legacy. He said, "I'll always protect his name. Always." But now, fans are questioning whether those words hold the same meaning under the light of this new revelation. In the early hours of the next morning, a fan recorded a short video outside a Chicago club, claiming they saw several OTF members arguing loudly. The clip is shaky, dark, and unverified, but in the background, someone can be heard yelling, "It's the label's fault, bro, not his!" That moment, whether real or not, spread like wildfire, because it symbolized everything this case had come to represent. Loyalty being tested, families being torn apart, and an artist's legacy caught in the crossfire of grief and fame. By sunrise, both camps were in full lockdown. No statements, no press, just silence. But for those who followed this case from the beginning, the silence says it all. The walls are closing in, and the courtroom isn't the only place where battles are being fought. And just when it seemed the storm couldn't get any heavier, a new twist emerged. A claim that someone inside the court's administrative wing leaked parts of the order to the press before it was officially released. That's where part 1 ends, right on the edge of chaos as both sides prepare for a war that's about to get far uglier than anyone imagined. By the time the sun rose over Chicago, the rumor had already turned into a media wildfire. Every hip-hop outlet, gossip page, and fan account had one headline plastered across their feed. Court insider leaks judge's order in Lil Durk's $8 million case. And this time, it wasn't speculation. According to multiple verified journalists who spoke to Spillora, at least 2 major media outlets received anonymous PDFs claiming to contain excerpts from the judge's new order, and what was written inside was explosive. The documents reportedly detailed an official request for Lil Durk's team to submit a full disclosure of earnings tied to posthumous King Von releases, branded merchandise, and label partnerships under OTF Enterprises. That included streaming residuals, digital distribution fees, and all income from collaborations using Von's vocals or likeness. In simple terms, the court wanted to see every dollar connected to Von's name, even after his death. For fans, it was validation. For Durk's camp, it was war. A few hours later, Durk's legal team finally broke their silence. In a brief but firm statement to local media, they said, "We respect the court's decision, but remain confident that the truth will prevail." But sources close to the situation told Spillora the real reaction behind the scenes was anything but calm. One insider described the mood as tense and divided. Some members reportedly urged Durk to stay silent, while others pushed him to speak directly to his fans to control the narrative. That same night, Durk went live on Instagram for just 60 seconds. No background music, no filters, just him. He didn't mention the case by name, but his tone said everything. "You ever try to do right by somebody and they still twist it?" He said, "I ain't gotta prove nothing. Time gon' tell who is real." Then he ended the concert. Those 60 seconds sparked over 6 million views in under an hour. The internet went into a frenzy. Fan pages, gossip accounts, and even former collaborators started weighing in. Some defended Durk, claiming he had always honored King Von's memory. Others accused him of using Von's name to push his brand further, and then came the curveball. Tasha, Von's mom, broke her silence too. In a calm but emotional video posted to Facebook, she said, "This isn't about tearing nobody down. This is about the truth coming out, no matter who it hurts." Her voice cracked slightly when she said Von's name, but her message was clear. She wasn't backing down. Within 24 hours, the story split the hip-hop community in half. Rappers, bloggers, and commentators began choosing sides. Some claimed the legal battle was going too far, that the court should have let Von's legacy rest. Others believed this was the accountability moment the industry had long avoided. But what no one expected was the next leak. Late that evening, screenshots began circulating of what appeared to be email exchanges between OTF's management and a high-profile distribution company. One of the messages allegedly referenced posthumous project royalties and an unresolved family contract. The authenticity of the emails couldn't be confirmed, but that didn't stop them from spreading like wildfire. By midnight, YouTube channels and Twitter threads were breaking down every word, every timestamp, every name mentioned. Some fans even began tagging Durk, demanding answers. One viral post read, "If it was all clean, why hide it?" Another, "Durk's silence is the loudest part of this case." Inside Durk's circle, things were spiraling. A source told Spillora that Durk's management team started clashing internally about how to handle the PR disaster. One camp wanted to file a motion to seal all new evidence immediately, while another feared that would make him look guilty. "It's like everyone's turning on each other," the insider said. "Nobody trusts nobody right now." Meanwhile, a courtroom source revealed that Judge Ramirez was furious about the leaks. In a rare public statement, she called the breach an act of sabotage against the judicial process. She ordered an internal review to find out how confidential information had gotten out. Rumor has it a clerk was questioned, but no one knows who tipped off the press. But the most shocking part wasn't the leak. It was what came next. According to an unverified but widely circulated report, the judge was considering sanctions against Durk's team for obstructing transparency. Some fans took that as confirmation that Durk was hiding something. Others argued it was just courtroom politics gone wild. Either way, the damage was done. As the pressure mounted, one of Durk's oldest collaborators posted a cryptic message on Instagram. "When the truth hurts, they call it betrayal." The comment section exploded. Fans speculated that it was aimed at Durk, hinting that someone close to him might testify if things escalated. And then, for the first time, whispers about witness involvement started to surface. A courtroom insider told Spillora that Tasha's legal team had requested testimony from 2 individuals who previously worked with OTF on merchandising deals. The insider claimed those witnesses could reveal how profits were divided and what promises were made and broken. By the end of that week, the internet had turned into a digital battlefield. YouTubers analyzed the case hour by hour. Fans began hashtag campaigns like Dire Justice for Von and Free Durk, both trending simultaneously. The polarization was complete. One side painting Von's mother as a warrior for truth, the other claiming she was being manipulated by outside forces hungry for attention. Durk, meanwhile, had disappeared from social media entirely. His last post, an old black and white photo with Von, carried a caption that said only, Day ones never switch. But beneath that, the comments told a different story. She switched because you made her, one wrote. Another said, Vaughn looking down, disappointed. Inside the courtroom, preparations for the next hearing were underway, but the tension was electric. Durk's lawyers requested additional time to review the leaked evidence and prepare a motion for suppression. Tasha's attorneys, however, accused them of stalling, claiming they were delaying the inevitable. And right when it seemed the storm couldn't grow any larger, another revelation hit. A report that the judge had scheduled a private review session with both legal teams to discuss newly obtained evidence. The nature of that evidence was unknown, but insiders whispered it came from an external source, possibly the same firm that had triggered the first wave of leaks. That's where things stood as the hearing date approached. Durk's team divided, the public losing faith, and a case that was no longer just about money. It was about truth, legacy, and the cost of loyalty. But just before the next hearing, something happened inside that courthouse that no one, not even the most seasoned insiders, could have predicted. The judge's new directive changed everything. The next morning, tension hung thick in the air outside the courthouse. News vans lined the street. Reporters clutched microphones, hoping for a statement from either side. Inside, the atmosphere was even heavier. The hearing was set to begin at 9 a.m., but by 8:30 the benches were already packed. Every seat was filled with lawyers, journalists, and a few recognizable faces from the industry. Nobody wanted to miss what was about to unfold. At exactly 9:07, Judge Ramirez entered. Her expression was calm, but her tone, razor-sharp. "This court has reviewed new material submitted overnight," she announced, her voice cutting through the room. "This information may have significant bearing on the integrity of the case and all involved parties." You could feel the collective inhale from both sides. According to two insiders present in the room, the new material consisted of encrypted files sent anonymously to the court, files that allegedly included undisclosed financial statements and communication, logs between Lil Durk's management and a third-party merchandise distributor. It was the same distributor that had been mentioned weeks ago in Tasha's original complaint. The timing couldn't have been worse for Durk's side. Durk's attorney immediately objected. "Your Honor, these documents were not authenticated through proper legal channels," he argued. But Judge Ramirez wasn't moved. "Authenticity will be determined after review," she replied coldly. For now, the court acknowledges receipt. Across the aisle, Tasha lowered her head, whispering something to her lawyer. A small nod followed. Some said she smiled for the first time since the hearings began. The order that followed was the kind of twist that turns a case into history. The judge announced that, effective immediately, both Durk's legal and business entities would be required to submit full third-party audits to ensure no conflicts of interest or withheld information exist between personal and brand accounts. In simple words, Durk's label, his merch, even his personal projects, all of it was now under financial microscope. As soon as she finished speaking, murmurs erupted through the courtroom. Reporters scrambled out to post updates. Within minutes, hashtags like Durk Audit and a Court Files Exposed were trending across social media. Outside, fans were divided yet again. Some believed the court was being biased, targeting Durk because of his fame. Others claimed it was justice catching up, the universe's way of forcing transparency. One viral TikTok broke down the situation in seconds. The judge just said, "Open the books." That means no more hiding, no more excuses. Back inside, Durk's demeanor shifted. He wasn't speaking, but his frustration was obvious. His jaw clenched tight, his fingers tapping the table. His team whispered furiously, trying to plan their next move. One of his lawyers leaned in, muttering something that made Durk shake his head in disbelief. "According to a courtroom insider," he said quietly, "they really trying to bury me." Meanwhile, Tasha's team had already started the paperwork to request copies of the audit results once they were filed. Her attorney told the press afterward, "We're not here to ruin anyone's life. We're here for accountability. That's it." But that quote, short and clean as it was, sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Because accountability was now the word echoing across every post, every podcast, and every gossip channel. By late afternoon, even major outlets like Say Cheese TV and the Neighborhood Talk had picked up the story. One of their posts read, "Judge orders Durk's full financial review in 8-murder case. This could change everything." And then, as if things weren't chaotic enough, a second leak dropped, this time from someone inside the legal circuit. A photo began circulating online showing what looked like a summary of the judge's order, stamped and signed. The image included a line that read, "Failure to comply may result in sanctions, including temporary freeze of disputed assets." The internet exploded. Fans started posting screenshots of Durk's cars, jewelry, and properties, joking that the freeze already started. But for Durk's camp, it wasn't funny. They immediately issued a brief statement through a PR rep. "We are cooperating with all court directives. Any rumors regarding financial restrictions are false. Still, damage control wasn't working. Every attempt to calm the story only fueled more speculation. Some fans even claimed that the anonymous whistleblower sending evidence to the court wasn't random. They believed it was someone inside OTF, a betrayal from within. That theory gained traction fast when an unverified voice recording surfaced online, allegedly of someone close to Durk saying he should have just paid her off when he had the chance. Now they're all digging. The clip's authenticity was impossible to prove, but it didn't matter. The internet doesn't need proof, just narrative. As the storm grew, another headline dropped. Durk's legal team files emergency motion for confidentiality. According to reporters, his attorneys were begging the court to restrict any future evidence releases, arguing that the case has turned into a public spectacle. But by then, it was too late. The spectacle was the case. In the midst of it all, King Von's mum released a short message through her lawyer. "I prayed before all of this," she said. "I didn't want to fight, but sometimes peace comes after truth, not before." That quote went viral instantly. Screenshots flooded Instagram stories, fan edits turned it into a soundbite, and thousands of comments poured in. By the end of that week, even people outside the hip-hop community were talking about it. Legal commentators began debating the ethics of celebrity transparency, while others argued that the judge's actions might set a precedent for how posthumous artist profits are handled in the future. Meanwhile, Durk's silence continued. He hadn't been seen publicly in days. Rumors swirled that he'd left Chicago, maybe even flown out to Atlanta to regroup with his inner circle. Some claimed he was recording a diss track about the situation. Others believed he was planning a statement video. But deep inside his circle, things were fracturing. Multiple insiders claimed that 2 longtime team members had quietly stepped back, refusing to comment publicly or defend him online. "It's not that they turned on him," one source said. "It's that they're scared. Nobody wants to be in the blast zone when the next hit drops." And it did. Because just when the noise started to calm, the judge made her final move of the week. She approved the release of summary findings from the ongoing financial review. The court statement read, "Preliminary analysis indicates inconsistencies in reported earnings between label and estate distributions. Further verification is underway." Those words, inconsistencies in reported earnings, were enough to reignite the chaos. Fans called it proof. Blogs called it blood in the water. And even though the court clarified it wasn't a verdict, the public had already made one. That's where part 3 picks up, with Durk's empire under a microscope. Von's family gaining traction, and a legal war turning into something far bigger than money. It was now about legacy, loyalty, and the question nobody wanted to ask. What if the truth doesn't favor either side? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where everything stands. A courtroom turned battlefield, a legacy hanging in the balance, and 2 families fighting for what they both believe is the truth. Lil Durk now faces not just a legal war, but a moral one. The judge's latest order didn't just expose numbers. It exposed wounds, loyalties, and a system that's been hiding behind sealed files for far too long. The internet is divided, half the world calling this karma, the other half calling it cruelty. But deep down, one question remains. Is this justice for King Von, or the breaking point for Lil Durk? Because in this case, no matter who wins, someone's legacy gets scarred forever. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Is this the price of fame or the cost of silence? Should Durk be held accountable, or is the system setting him up for failure? Drop your thoughts, your theories, and your truth down below, because this story is far from over. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next hearing, the next leak, and the next twist could change everything again. And when it does, we'll be right here breaking it down first. This is Spillora, where the streets talk. The pain bleeds slowly, and the truth never sleeps. Bleeds slowly, and the truth never sleeps.